Triple D&D. Triple D&D.
This is Jean-luc.
I'm Kool-Aid.
I'm Ian.
And this is Triple D&D. What's up, y'all? Again, you know how it goes. Kool-Aid, your boy, is gonna roll first.
That 20-sided die.
Come on, magic. 5.
Kool-Aid got a 5. All right.
What you got, Jean-luc? You probably gonna.
I'm thinking I got higher than a 5.
Get that natural 1 though.
7.
Wow.
Not much higher.
Not at
much
all.
higher.
You are in the same dungeon, and you might have missed.
Well, I guess today what I would like to talk about is first off, I would like to discuss the return of my namesake, Captain Jean-luc Picard, to television and pop culture, as it were.
Nice.
And you know, depending on where we go, it's completely random. But I also want to get your take on Venom, but your thoughts. But that's I want to get through the Jean-luc Picard stuff first. So he's announced, Patrick Stewart, that he will be returning to the character.
Back to the character.
Yep. On a CBS All Access show.
So is that like on the app?
Yeah,
or
it's...
I was just gonna ask you that because I figured you might have more information
on
about
on CBS.
Yeah, they're All Access. I think it's their Netflix. Like, right? It's where they initially released Discovery.
Okay.
Like,
so I'm imagining you could probably buy this channel somewhere on some Hulu or your Roku. Shout out to third parties.
Yeah. So while excited about the show, that is my one concern about it, is it's gonna be there, and the whole reason I didn't really continue with Discovery is because that's where it was.
Right.
Not that it wasn't good, but I mean, I guess right. It's Jean-luc Picard coming back, so it's not like people aren't going to go there to see it.
Exactly.
I just feel like the return of him to Star Trek, should be for everyone.
Yo, hold on, wait. Give me 1 second. Moment of silence for net neutrality, dude. Shit's dead. Sorry. All right, keep going.
No,
yeah,
that's truth.
Yeah, because I'm like, you realize, just not to cut it, but so I remember way back in the day, like when cable first came out, like for us. Well, I mean, remember when I was a kid and we had cable, like 4 years old, dude, you had every channel. Like, think about that. You like every channel. And then as time like slowly went on, you had less and less. And now you think about, like, I think my mom, they were paying $20 a month for all everything. So now think about, what can you really get just for $20 a month outside of Netflix?
I mean,
like the premium level stuff with all the bells and whistles.
I mean, not much.
Exactly.
Hulu,
So
I mean,
just like,
for me though, like we didn't have cable. It was just basic television. So CBS, Star Trek was one of the things I got to watch.
Oh, wow.
Like I had, and that's
so you gotta pay for it.
Like,
I got you by the heart.
Well, like but and that's my problem with it. I'm like, but like it should be for everyone. Like there are lessons to be learned there.
Yeah. Mind you, this is Jean-Luc's namesake. So this episode, Jean-luc gonna be fired up the sword, everyone.
Yeah,
so
no, it's
get ready.
It's just one of my earliest memories. Was watching that show with my dad. I remember when the cliffhanger when they left it and he was now Locutus aboard. Like that was the first television cliffhanger I remember being like, what? And my dad had to explain to me how a television cliffhanger worked.
Yeah.
And I was pissed.
What are these feelings, Father? What are these feelings?
Yeah, so you're not telling next week isn't... That's shit.
Yo. So wait a minute, what was my first cliffhanger? First cliffhanger had to be Power Rangers Mighty Morphin, where Rita destroys the command center or whatever. Like they lose their powers and everything,
shit.
and then Tommy's like full on Green Ranger evil. Then it's just like bang, and it's it. And I'm like, dude, I remember it was
the first time the Zords go down.
They go down. They come out of the powers, dude. The weekend was sunny, and I remember being like, it was raining inside my mind. I was like, I don't understand what's happening. It's not gonna.
I was crushed.
Yeah, dude. Oh, don't you love being young? These are reality. What?
My wonder, right, is where are they going to go with the Jean-luc?
I was literally about to ask. What can they do?
Because do they continue the story as it was left off? Like, in the last movie, Nemesis, in which Data is essentially, I mean, spoilers, dead. He has another prototype version of himself that he had uploaded his thoughts and memories into, but they had seen, like, for me, hinted that, like, some of that would come back based off of how the movie ended, but that he would kind of be his own person. Do they continue that idea? Like, or does all of the movies that have happened going back to the new Kirk and Vulcan being destroyed, has that timeline altered what has happened in Next Gen? Like, is my wondering. Like, are they like, okay, the Picard you knew isn't quite the same because, like, the events you saw happened but may have happened slightly different. Like, because now Vulcan is destroyed, like, in this whole new timeline, like sending ripples through space. Because, like, in the first one, Spock from the original timeline shows up and all of it goes to hell, like, when the Romulan ship follows him. I'm curious if they can go, like, if they're going to go that route. Like, of, you know what, it's a kind of new Picard, so things are different now.
Or as someone who you personally, I mean, you tell me, Jean-Luc, I mean, this is the thing you want. So how would, if you were CBS and you were funding this project, how would you introduce it? Are you going to, I mean, yeah, tell us. Wait, before you tell us. They just called you up. Jean-Luc, what you doing? Hey, man, I'm kicking it. Hey, so we got Patrick Stewart. He's back on the plate. We got some money we can throw at you. We're trying to bring him back. Go.
Well, because it's been hinted, like, on some level that he's not going to be, like, time has passed since that moment, and, like, he said that he will have grown as a person and may not be quite the Jean-Luc you remember. Which is, like, that's why I'm like, is that speaking to the time that has passed or, like, the time that has been rewritten? What I would be interested to see is, and this is probably not the way to go at all, right? This is my personal, I would love to see him show up in Discovery back in like, in that time, because I would like to see him be a slightly darker character.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm gonna actually take that 100% back. That would be great for a movie.
Okay, I was about to say.
But it's not for the Next Gen television show. I would love for them, honestly, to continue what they were doing with the other, like, with the original series. To be like, you know what, this other lore that we've been creating is this other lore.
Kind of like Star Wars, where it's canon meets non-canon.
Yeah, like I think it would be best to keep that, because I feel a little bit with the new Star Treks, like, they're great. They are great movies. Discovery was a great show. It is very action-packed and flashy. And that is not always what Star Trek was, especially Next Gen. Like,
dude, there was a lot of talking at times.
And I mean, if you go back and watch it, it was, every episode there was a mystery to be solved. Yeah. Like, and oftentimes, like, touching on very, like, social or political, like, points at the time. And I think now would be a great time for that. A character like Jean-Luc Picard that holds the ideals of like, science and truth, like, and morality so, like, close to his heart, and, like, that is the core of who he is, like, mixed with a good leader. And I think, for however you want to take this, we need to see that right now. Like, and I think there are a lot of people who could look to him where they couldn't look to real people who exist now, if that makes sense.
Oh, snap.
Like, they're based off...
Patrick Stewart, you gotta lead the youth,
I mean,
baby.
based off just...
We need you to lead the youth.
Pure political isolation, like, on some people's behalf. Like, he surpasses politics, and it would be great for have something that everyone could be like, yeah, like, that guy's right.
Touché.
As to what is going to happen, I would love to see the return of all of the other characters.
Oh, wow.
He has said that, like, in the meeting that convinced him, he was in a meeting, and he said there were 5 of them, which I was like, him, and his 5 other officers, that would be 6. And I was like, well, if Data's not there, like, that's him and all of the other officers. Like, maybe there was a conversation as to, hey, like, we all think this is worthwhile. Mm-hmm. Like, and I would love to see a return. I would love to see Riker had become a captain.
Oh,
like I would love to see
wow. I was
Jean-Luc
about to say.
Picard has left Starfleet, because I don't want to see him be an admiral, purely for the fact that he was such a great captain, and Kirk said to him in the movies, in Generations, like, said to him, don't let them promote you. Like, it basically saying, like, you will always regret it. Like, this is where you want to be. So I would like to see Jean-Luc Picard a little more bitter, like, at the beginning. And this story brings him back out of that, back into who he was, right? Like, this bitterness of having left Starfleet maybe on some sort of bad terms, based off, like, morally he believed something was right and he had to do it, and they were like, no, and they cut him. Like, or something. There's been some sort of falling out, right? Which is that, I think earlier where I was like, you know, we could go through time and violate the Prime Directive, but, like, no, that's too far. It would make a great flashy movie, but I don't think it would be good for the show, at all. And I would love to see us watch that character come back to who he was. In the same way, I think on every side in America right now, we're all trying to find a way to come back to who we were. Like,
oh wow!
And I think
you tying that together.
Look,
why don't you run for president? Don't be having nobody look up to nobody. Look up to you.
Be Star Trek for everyone. It'll be in our schools. My thought process always, like, and it's because probably I watch the show, is as a society, like, what is our goal if not like that? Like,
I always thought that our goal should be to replicate matter, but
I mean that's okay. That's
at one point,
which they do.
I know they do. No, they do exactly. I mean, we're all over here fighting over fossil fuel and like non-renewable resources, but I'm like, can we get to the replication of stuff? Can we get to the stuff where we come together and like start just doing the science, just the straight beyond part? Where's the beyond?
And I think the problem, like, with replicators, like, and like how do we get to Star Trek in a place where, like, money and resource is power, and like the whole world works off of like a power structure. There's an interesting, this is a complete side note, but there's an interesting anime called, I think it was called Kato the Right Answer. Okay. And it was about an alien race from a different dimension coming in and giving us unlimited power. Like, and being like, we're going to give you the way to do it. Everyone can have unlimited power. And the government's lost their shit. Because they're like, wait. If everyone has unlimited power, no one needs us. Like, so, like, the part, like, that's the hard part of trying to get there. There's always the power structure. Even the people seemingly doing good will make the realization, oh, wow, all the power and all, like, the systems we put in place would completely be useless if everybody could replicate their own stuff. Like, it's going to have to be a huge shakeup that changes the way everything works. And I think it's going to have to be everybody on the planet getting on board. Yeah. Like, and
good luck.
And I mean, I think that's going to take, like Star Trek, some sort of extraterrestrial influence. Like,
wow, so you're saying on record that you don't believe currently that humans have the fortitude to make this happen without outside force via extraterrestrial.
Because we're petty, and we need to all know that there's an enemy that's not us. Like, okay, all right, you know what? We were on our little islands over here, fighting over who was on what island. But we're all on a massive island, floating out in space, and there are other islands. So let's be mad at them together, or be paranoid about them together. Yeah. Like, you're still going to have the same problems, just on a universal scale now. This is
dang, man. But, I mean, if we're having this conversation, then there has to be hope, right?
Right? Which is why we need Star Trek.
Yeah. Bringing it back home. Jean-Luc Picard for president.
Well, and Next Gen for me always I thought was, and I could completely wrong, and there are people who probably disagree with me. I thought it was probably a time that Gene Roddenberry had a little more freedom to do some of the things and tell some of the stories he wanted to. Like, I mean, not saying sexism isn't what it wasn't still clearly prevalent in the 1980s, right? Like, but it wasn't what it was in, like, the 50s and 60s. Like, they weren't, if you see the first season, like, the doctor has to wear, like, a dress for the first, like, I think most of the first season. And from that, like, second season on, they're all, like, wearing the same uniform. Like, it's all, like, unified. Mm-hmm. Gene Roddenberry wanted the original, like, Captain Kirk character to be a female. And they told him, like, the execs wouldn't let it happen because they said no one would believe it. Like, so, I think, again, like, Next Gen was a truer, like gave him a little more freedom to like tell the story he wanted and show the society he wanted. So like when I look to like the idealistic where the story's told, I always look to Next Gen first. Not that the original wasn't great, but
yeah, personally, that's where I got on was Next Gen, because it would come on right after like Martin and stuff like that, like all the late like prime time stuff, and then it'd be like, and I'm like, whoa, I'm getting all this, and I'm like, the nighttime, me in space feeling, I'm like, and
slide open the curtains, look out there.
Right, it was so good. And you know the cool part about Patrick Stewart as a great actor, he brings a true energy to all his adaptations or whatever. And so you have this idea, well, I did personally, I would hope other people would as well, is when you think of what Jean-Luc Picard would be, you see Patrick Stewart. Like, I mean, that is who, and then, I mean, like you said, he does have this, like, level of suave that he kind of brings to science. He's like, oh, science is mad sexy. And you're like,
100%.
Yo, real talk,
and
like
as
weapons,
a bald
like,
man.
like like real talk, like weapons grade sexy, bro. You're like, man, this is what's up. And I mean, I think that was the first show as a child that kind of spotlighted great dialogue, great writing as well. And so I was able to get into these stories where, like you say, at the time, there was action, but it wasn't like it is now with the flashy and the blast. Now, don't get me wrong, it's
not
great.
what it's not what it was about. It definitely had those episodes or those moments, right?
Definitely, but
it
was
still shot
substance.
some phasers.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's still some phasers. You know what I'm saying? I was still getting, booted to the sick bay, you know what I'm saying? Stuff happens. But no, like you said, it was substance. It was thick. So when you did see the action, it was like, so no, I totally agree. So at this point, let me ask a quick question. How could they ruin this for you?
How could they ruin this for me?
Yeah, how could they ruin this for you?
Jeez.
I need to know.
They could ruin it for me by kind of what we've been talking about. Like, I guess it would disappoint me. I don't know that they could completely ruin it. Is if
You were an admiral?
yes, he were an admiral. if the show was very like, what's going on with this intergalactic war? Like, there were those episodes, but that's not what the show was about. Like, I would also like to see a return to a more episodic format. Not that, like, it did overall tell a longer story, but, like, every episode was a self-contained episode, like, story. It wasn't created to binge watch. Like, it's so good you can still binge watch it, but it wasn't expecting you to go from like that next episode straight into the one after it. And maybe that's just the way things are made now, but I would really like to see them work on the self-contained episode feel that the others had, much like the show Orville. I really liked the show Orville. I mean,
what's the show? Orville?
Oh, that's the was this
Seth MacFarlane.
What was it about?
It's Seth MacFarlane show on Fox, and it's getting its second season. It's basically his Star Trek. Like, it's a kind of funny Star Trek.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Initially, they made it look like a spoof, right? Like
Spaceballs almost.
Like, that's what it seemed like. And then once you got there, you realized it was honestly more of an homage.
Okay.
Like, and it was honestly closer to me what Next Generation felt like versus honestly Discovery. Like, in Discovery, it's its own thing. But I would honestly love seeing if Jean-Luc Picard comes back. I mean, which he is, I guess. I would love to see a return to that kind of feel in that honest Next Gen format. Like that, I just learned a lesson in this one episode, and it has nothing to do with what happened in the last episode.
Okay.
Like, that's, and
I like that.
That's. It would disappoint me if I didn't get that a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Him coming back, like, okay, they could ruin it for me if he's there in the first episode and something happens to him, and they replace him with a younger actor.
He's like, I'm coming back,
Yeah.
and it's just like him still saying, I wanted to say I'm sorry by giving you guys a taste that I could come back.
Which is why someone needs to keep that sweet, talented man alive for at least the next 10 to 15 years, so we get a solid series. I mean, I'm sure his family loves him in that too. Like, they, it would be terrible if he went for them, but also, I need this show.
Yeah. it's not about them.
Yeah, it's about the art.
Well, all right, then we're shooting that out there. Everybody gets to feel Jean-Luc Picard is the new president of the United States. The United Worlds, I guess, at this point. The intergalactic ruler.
That's
of
right.
all. Just
That's
like,
right. 2019, and everyone's gonna be like, "Why 2020?" But I'm not running for president. That's why.
yeah.
All right.
That's just me.
Yep.
For sure. All right, my turn.
Yeah.
Okay, so something more gritty. I feel
Okay,
like that
all right.
was way more elegant than what I'm about to jump into. All right, and Kool-Aid with the dirt in the grime. So, something simple.
Okay.
Who do you think drops a better animated movie? Marvel or DC?
Uh-huh.
So, at this point, I'm going to jump on first and go right off the bat. DC hands down. I don't know if anyone's going to say anything.
Yep.
It's just like, it's like, well, and then you have to really, so let me spotlight this as a nerd. You think the back and forth, like, oh, is it Marvel, is it DC? And you always get the age-old, this is the battle.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like true nerds really just consume it all, honestly.
At
right?
this point, it's been going on probably for the better part of a century.
Yeah,
Think about
exactly.
that.
Yeah, like, honestly. And I think, obviously it's really good for public, like, public awareness, so people are consistently going back and forth and everything like that, which is really awesome. You keep the traffic going, right?
The conversation helps both sides.
Definitely. No, it's awesome. So, I mean, like I said, like, nerds who are for real nerds, you're just going to consume it all, honestly, and from top to bottom. And hands down, I think since 2006, actually, give me 1 second here, and I believe it was 2006, right? Yeah, so they put out their first movie in 2006.
The Avengers?
No. The animated movie was called Marvel Animated Features, right? Yeah, Marvel Animated Features. Right, it was in 2006, right?
Huh.
And this is Marvel's first shot
Yeah.
at the animated movie series. And so it's kind of wild to me that Marvel has all this money and this power to drop the MCU and continually make it strong and long, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at the playlist, it's like, yo, we got movies for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I was about to say, it still has fuel.
It's got juice for days. And so you're like, okay, cool. And then you imagine that same energy can kind of flow over to the animated world. Dude, no. Like, at all. It's literally like night and day. So if you go at this very moment, according to the interwebs, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 animated movies. That's it.
I mean, since 2006.
Since 2006.
Yeah.
So really take a moment and think about that. And the last movie that just came out, animated wise, was The Hulk, Where Monsters Dwell. And the thing that trips me out is like,
But isn't that based off of, like, that's the show, that's off of a show that's happening, like
exactly.
the current Hulk television show.
So I'm like, the thing that trips me out the most is I'm like, where does what happened? Where's the money go? Where's the team? It's like, okay.
I mean, they all focused on.
I get
movies.
it, but I'm like, okay, it's making this much money. Why couldn't you take this in-house, the couple of guys, the couple of people from here, and just, hey guys, here's a side project, crank this out? Because I mean, like, does it make sense to you that Marvel's
No, it does no, dude, no, it doesn't.
It's garbage.
Dude.
Not garbage. Excuse me.
Like,
I take it back, Marvel. I did not say it was garbage. I want all your powers.
The amount of focus put into it has been lacking.
Most
like that's
lacking.
I'm 100% with you. It's like DC has the better. They have a DC animated universe that they've built.
Yeah,
with all
they
of their
really
movies.
do.
And it's great. They've got like the same voice actors for it. They've got like similar animators for most of them, if not the same ones. It's like they continue the story of all of them existing within the same world. Yeah, I've seen several of the Batman ones.
They bang. The Batman was bang.
Superman Apocalypse was dope. Like there's a point where like I was watching that movie and it was one of the first ones that like I was like, oh, it made me notice the DC animated movies.
Yeah,
like there's a
definitely.
point where like Wonder Woman like grabs a spear away from someone and turns it around and stabs them with it, and I was like, oh really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
those are the stakes. I get it now.
It gets
Okay.
juicy. It gets juicy.
But it's really good. There was the Enemy of the State was all right, like which was the Batman Superman one.
Yeah.
The Teen Titan one was really good.
Yo,
like, the Teen Titan ones were really good.
Really
As a fan of the show, like
it's like, yo, and then no hate to Teen Titans Go. I know it's all new gen or whatever.
Is that the cartoon?
That's the cartoon
Super
version. Yeah,
looking one?
super cartoon version. It's like, dude. I mean,
it is, yeah.
It's cartoon version, so it's like kids style, dude.
The only way like I can imagine watching it is like I've seen like or heard like seen a theory that like if you look at it from the perspective, it's all actually happening in Beast Boy's head. Like the original Beast Boy from the show, like this is like his imagination running wild, like on himself, like when he's not out there fighting like super villains, really. Like it's just like okay, I can that makes it a little easier, but
I'll have to watch
Okay,
it
I'll
to
take
make
that.
sure.
Wow, Jean-Luc, how did you make that work? Jean-Luc is a for real magician, though, y'all. I'll let y'all know, like he,
no, like that is somebody else's.
like
That is a
things
theory
are
I
like
read like on
floating
Reddit.
inside of
So,
here right now. They're like,
but it made that show a little bit easier for me to see, right?
yeah, no, because every time I watched it once, and I saw my cousins
Yeah.
watching it in the background, and even they were like, dude. Where's Tara? Like, where's the real? He's like, where's the pain? Where's the anguish? I look at my cousin like, really?
I wanted Teen Titans thing to do well, but at the same time, like, if this is what the younger generation is gonna think, they're never gonna know. They're gonna never know how good it could have been.
Yeah.
I mean, like at this point, you have to think about what they're gonna push to, though. I mean, like, what could you really? Are the gens waiting for that like we were? But I mean, like you said, you get that service in the animated movies. So what I kind of come to the realization of is that DC's animated universe is comparable to the MCU. And that's where they kind of go back and
That's
forth.
a fair comparison, yeah.
But see, my thing is really sad, though. It's like, I like the balance because then it gives you the back and forth. But if Marvel really wanted to crush the game, why wouldn't they just follow the same structure? I mean, like, I'm confused.
Well, now to fight on Marvel's side here now, they did have a really good. It was the Wolverine and Thor, and then it was it was the Wolverine and Hulk, and Hulk versus Thor. Those movies, like those two back to back, like
They were good.
short films, were
They were
really
good.
well
They
done.
were good. They were well.
The Avenger one was pretty good. Like I mean, it was not great, but like
Thank you. But it's like, come
like
on,
it was not great. Like
you can't cheese that one, dude. You can't cheese that one.
Like,
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
I would I enjoyed it. Like it was not nearly as good as the Wolverine, and like
Okay, good.
they also had some. They did have like there was this Iron Man and Hulk that was
Yo.
like the CG,
Bro.
like crappy CG.
Yo,
movies.
that crap CG.
That is trash.
I was like,
That
why
is.
did y'all put this out?
That is terrible.
though?
And like, but I think they're on the game, and I think they're looking to knock DC out of that because Into the Spider-Verse looks amazing.
Right?
It looks like someone like pitched and was like, hey, we need to get on our animation game. Like we're doing comic book movies. Why aren't we animating any of them?
Dude, thank you, Jean. Because I'm like, okay, we get it. But I'm like, this is your money right here. Like, if you really want to reign supreme. Because what I'm looking for is that healthy competition that keeps forcing creativity on both sides. Because my just side note pet peeve with DC is they have so much amazing like talent and ingredients that they don't even dip in. It's like the top, our big three. We got Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, Justice League. It's like, okay, cool. Like, you've got Constantine. You've got all these other stuff that are popping out that you're playing around with that's really good that you can, like, drag. Well, I heard there's a new Constantine coming back. I don't know. Technically, is this DC? I guess that's dark.
It was their Vertigo, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like Vertigo or something.
Yeah.
Like, you get something like you guys can kind of dance around with that. But I'm like, all of these other things, like Static Shock.
Yeah,
bro.
that would be dope.
Okay, so
I would watch a Static Shock animated movie,
bro. I'm saying you
or
got
a real movie.
Dude, you got all these kids. Stranger Things just happened. Get the black kid from Stranger Things. Yo, bro, you want to be Static Shock? Yes, you can. Crank that up. Black is hot right now. Come on, DC. And DC, poor DC, has always had an issue, I personally feel, with diversity, man. It's because every time they try to throw the diversity, it's blatant diversity. And it's like, nah, dude, this is just how normal life is. It doesn't have to be this overt, like, I put an Asian lady in, there's a black man.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, bro, we get it. You know what I'm saying?
You
know what I'm saying?
I'll totally give you that because I mean, original Green Lantern.
It's just
everybody was white.
Yo, exactly. And it's like, okay, cool. And then we put a black guy in, and it's good. And it's just like, all right, now it seems that something that should be natural, because that's the smorgasbord of the pool of people you have around, Instead, it's like rigid. It's like this goes here.
Mm-hmm.
You need diversity. Put it there. It's like speaking of the new Teen Titans movie. Have you seen some of those shots that are gonna for the new Teen Titans movie?
I've not.
They've got Starfire is she's portrayed by a black lady, and
Okay.
it's not that it's bad because she's an alien. Who cares what she is, right? But it's like the way they have it set up. It's like it looks bad. It
Yeah.
just looks bad, and it's like did you guys not just watch Black Panther? Did you not just right? You know what I'm saying? Like how easy it is to just be like, yo, let me ask a question. Why am I not getting people of color to do this? Because it really looks like people of color aren't doing this, or the people who represent these things aren't doing those things. I think the closest thing that DC is doing to get like more accurate in that, Jason Momoa as Arthur Curry
Yeah.
for
Aquaman.
Aquaman from the leader of Atlantis. I'm like, okay,
Which-
that's a shot. He's
which-
Polynesian. He should be.
Which
At
is
least.
fair, and if he's under the water the majority of the time, his hair wouldn't his hair wouldn't blonde because he's not with out in the sun all the time.
Exactly.
Like, so it's a more realistic probably take on.
I mean, wouldn't you expect that he'd be an islander from the islands?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like, I definitely
It is
see
very
a
cool. It's a
Moana
cool
type
take on it.
person over Homeboy from New York. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the surfer bro attitude, like added around it, but
He's not a surfer, bro. That's just Jason Momoa. Like, he's got that same attitude.
Fair.
Watch any show with Jason Momoa, and it's the same character. It's
Yeah.
Jason Momoa.
yeah,
And you're like, I just like to see that this guy's changing clothes.
yeah,
Nice outfit, sir. New outfit, sir. New outfit, sir.
yeah. Yeah, that's. I mean, Aquaman's a hard character to like
To relate to?
Yeah, in general.
I mean, shit, I feel the same way about Superman.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, Superman. I'm like, yo, I can't relate to, like, this white guy who's cooler than everybody. And it's like, he's so super that nobody can
you
beat
have a
him.
problem with the Ubermensch?
Dude, I can't I'm like, no offense. Like, I'm like, oh, it's obviously the animated fiction world. It's like, yeah, but it's like, even in that, it's like, he's so goody-goody that, like, he's like the lapdog of the state.
See,
And the state goes, you do this. And he's like, I'm the super cop. He's basically a super police person. I'm like, wow.
Christopher Reeve sold Superman to me. Like I watched. I mean, it was Superman 2. Really, I watched Superman 2 over and over and over as a kid.
You know, I never watched any of those
Really?
movies.
What?
Actually, I saw clips and pieces of it because I just even as a kid, it was just so lame to me. There's this guy flying around, and I'm just like, oh, okay, he's super. He's flying around. I'm like, okay. I thought those powers were great. I just thought that who he was and like who he was protecting, what he represented. I was like, so you're an arm of America, and we already doing some things. And I'm like, all right, cool.
No.
I was like,
not
okay,
America.
cool.
Peace, justice, and the American way.
Oh my God, we all know what the American way is.
Capitalism.
Right? And someone always has to lose in capitalism. And it's usually the people who can't fight the alien who's saying, hey, whatever America's telling me to do, I'm going to do to you.
They never tell you that Superman's actually rich because he understands branding.
Right? Talk about he and Batman share the same thing. They're super rich. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm pretty sure I get flagged for that, but I'm like,
No,
yeah.
I mean that's like that is a fair that's always a fair gripe with Superman, right? One, he's like, oh great, he can do anything depending on what they need, right? Just how what does the sun look like today? Okay,
Yeah, right,
now he can do this,
Now, if I take my molecular structure and I shift it several, and you're like, what? And you're
right?
like, who knew that he could do this? He found out he had these powers as well.
Yeah.
When he drinks lava at a rate of, you're like, wait, what?
which is the
And I'm like, all right, what else can he do? What else can he do?
Well,
So, I mean, that's me personally, so excuse me.
no, that's
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I just couldn't sell that to me. So, back to Arthur Curry, I'm like, yo. And it was always wild. It was like, so let me get this straight. The leader of Atlantis is a white dude. And I'm just like, man, bro, they just everywhere. Yeah, just all of the culture, just everywhere. Yeah.
fair.
Slide up in there, like, wouldn't he be an amphibian of some sort, right? Like, some type of animal? No. It's Jeff Goldblum and David Hasselhoff in We Underwater. The Atlanta story. Oh, man.
Man, I totally see to the diversity in comic books. You know, in the '60s you had X-Men, which even then didn't have until the second iteration of their team any real diversity.
And then it's like Storm is a a thief in Africa, and I'm like, oh, well, thank you.
She was also.
Yeah,
to be fair, though, she was also worshipped as a god.
I mean,
and
yeah, she had power. She had power in Cairo, and then they found her on the street, like thieving and shit. And I'm like, so let me get this straight: the controller of weather, basically, is on the street stealing pocket change.
Well,
And then they
for
just-
an interdimensional psychic demon
I'm
known
like,
as the Shadow King.
I'm like, yo, so if you really think about the complexity of that, and you're like, but she couldn't be doing something a little more, you know.
Well, and she was still, adolescent there. So, like, mutants often don't develop or even have the ability to really control their powers until closer to puberty, and when or unless there's some traumatic shit.
No.
Which,
we know the history, but I'm just saying, like, personally, it was just the vision. It's just like, oh, there's a black person stealing.
Fair,
and it's just like, and it's usually like you're a thug, you're a prostitute, you're stealing, you're
and,
like the one with shitty grades, you're like the one who can't keep up, and it's just
and the rich white guy from over there comes and scoops you off and takes you out to America
and make sure you're better self, right? And I'm like, okay, we get it. It's like, when we were doing math over here, like, people are engineers too, right? You know what I'm saying, right? Why couldn't she be like somewhere posted up, like having a conversation with a professor back and forth about, this is wrong, like the precipitation is this and this, because I've seen it, and he's like, they think I'm crazy. And it's like, you know what? So I would rather her be like a mad genius, you know what I'm saying, than being like, what's in your pocket?
Well, but
What's in your pocket?
But her being a mad genius isn't part of her character.
Touche,
Which is an argument about the backstory.
I get it.
But,
You're right. I'm just saying anything outside of I got the money. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
that's fair.
It's like, but yes. So at this point, I don't see DC really doing what's necessary for its diversity. It has the ability to do so. But even in the...
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I just haven't seen those pictures of it.
You haven't seen any of the Starfire situation?
No, not at all, man. Like, that's gone all right over my head somehow.
Yo, when you get a chance, after this conversation we're having here, you'll go and check it out.
Okay.
And you'll be like, okay, what the hell is this? Because you'll be like, I get it, but I don't get it.
But at the end of the day, there's an alien being represented. And, not anyone of color. So,
and
that's...
it's
the alien isn't a representation of, minorities. You can't, that's not an acceptable outcome.
It's like, yeah. And it's so why. So, yes. It's like, DC, you got something going. Marvel could possibly knock you off of that. Are you showing him? Mm-hmm. Let him see. Let him look at it. Yeah, look at those photos.
She got those cheekbones on there. I'm just saying, man. I mean,
no, she's cute. She's cute. It's not the issue. She's not cute. Shit. She cutie, dude. She a cutie. But the thing is, did you see the pic? No. Did you show the picture that they had her in though?
No. I haven't seen the costume.
Go. Look for the costume. They have her in this it's really bad. It's
okay.
they got her in this orange weave. Look, check me.
So not a bad casting choice, just a bad.
It's a bad DC move.
Because there's not people.
There's no people of color to be like, she looks less than what you're trying to make it look like. Right now, this makes her look cheap. She's an awesome, but it's like DC yet again. It's like, we don't know if it's not white, and it's like. Okay, bro, we got you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not every Asian person is supporting their whole Asian family in their home, and it's like, oh, I'm a this and that. It's like, no, dude, everyone's human.
Yeah.
They're not this terrible thing.
Oh,
did
is
you
that
see
the-
it?
you
Did
found
you
the
see
picture?
it?
Give me the picture.
Yeah, show them. See, I want everybody to exactly look at that photo. Now, I want everybody who can't see what we're doing.
Terrible.
Who can't see what I'm saying.
Okay, so
go look up the.
So
look up
this
the
is
picture.
she is wearing a metallic one skirt with
what looks to be a mink or fur
coat along with a Ronald McDonald wig.
Yo, dude.
What appears to be a Ronald McDonald wig.
And I'm like, how do you fix that?
It's
It's
not
a curled version of that wig from the other X-Men show that flopped.
Oh my god, dude.
That looks terrible.
Thank you. Now that you have a visual representation
terrible.
of what I'm talking about, you guys.
Also, why isn't she orange?
Exactly. Why is her hair orange? Is that your representation?
Yeah, why? Yeah, that's.
And
She's from another planet. Make her from another planet, and if again that the alien. Like, yeah, the
Have you
alien
seen
the minority does not make.
Dude, have you seen the trailer for it?
No. Dude, there's a trailer out?
Oh my god.
How did I miss all of this?
Jean-Luc, what are you doing?
I heard there was a movie coming out. I didn't know they were this
Yo,
far.
we about to pull Jean-Luc's nerd card right now after the show,
I've been
bro.
out there daydreaming about Patrick Stewart.
Like, but seriously, yo, check out the trailer. It looks like a CW show.
Oh no.
And I'm like, come on, Brody. What's up?
Jeez.
Yes. So I guess we can say for prosperity that DC puts out a better animated movie, but it's got a bunch of skeletons in their closets that they need to work on. And the MCU is banging, yet their animated universe is lacking heavily.
We'll caveat that at the end with also, like, but I think they're coming for it. Like, I think Marvel's coming for it.
So
DC.
we'll see. This will be a timestamp in human existence. So we here at Triple D&D will get the credit for being the ones that say, "Hey, Marvel, we were the one who put the foot in your ass so y'all could get it together. Where is our free shit?" You know what I'm saying? I love you. I'm sorry for being me.
They're dropping. They're dropping that movie in theaters. It's not DC has not dropped any of their animated stuff in theaters.
Yo, and they
Like,
still get juice for it. Though.
yeah.
I mean, wherever you're gonna watch on the flicks, because usually you're going on. I mean, if you can go to Netflix right now and just look up the library,
No.
you'll be like, oh wow.
Oh,
You
they've
can just see it. Just the library count in itself.
that is how I've watched some of like those DC movies. Is like sometimes or like on Xbox Live.
Yeah,
I'll look to see
exactly.
where like whoa. What else is there?
Yeah.
There's
Dude,
by the way, there's 50 fucking movies.
What was it? Under the Red Hood?
Was
very
very good.
Man, Jason
Very
Todd,
good. Very good.
You brought me back.
Right.
Oh, he aggro, son. Oh, Jason Todd, man, make my heart swoon. I'm swoon. Did he hit him with a 9? Those 2 9s to the face. You don't kill nobody, Bruce. I be killing people. I do the work. Bruce is like, nah, fam, I can't kill him because this is how I get paid. I gotta keep beating up on the same dudes over and over and
You're
over.
not gonna let me do what I like to do if I start killing people
Yeah,
now.
right? Because then I'm gonna run out of people to kill and I'm gonna get bored. That's really what he's saying.
Yeah.
You know, I can't kill my game. You know what I'm saying? This is my game. So,
Man.
actually, you got time to jump on that Venom?
I want to pick your thoughts as far as as far as we know, like it should be the last Venom trailer has come out. That's the third one at this point, I believe. For everyone out there, it's the one with the turd rolling in the wind line, which I'm a huge fan of. I love that line. Like it's one of the things that gives me hope for the movie.
I'm always a fan of Venom, period. I think my introduction to Venom as a young child before the comics was Spider-Man the Animated Series.
100%, man. 100%.
And he gets the symbiote from the space landing.
And gets on Spider-Man and goes to
Eddie Brock. And so from that point, like, it was from there that I went to go find the comics for it. And I was like, oh, snap, so this really happened.
those cartoons. I mean, those cartoons made me a comic fan.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. Because I was already like a comic fan, picking up bits and pieces here and there. But I mean, I think the thing that's really cool about Venom is that Venom is it's like Venom itself is a portal to another dimension for every character. Outside of him just being itself, you got anything can be venomized. And i.e. all the things that have been venomized, like even down to Black Panther was venomized at one point, which is crazy.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Groot. I said there's Groot.
Yeah,
at one
Groot
point.
was venomized and stuff. So I mean, everyone's gotten venomized. So I love Venom. Honestly, I thought the darker version of Spider-Man was pretty nuts.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
It was dope.
And it was actually my favorite because I like the black suit Spider-Man better than anything. I loved him
100%.
with the raw.
Any video game they give you that suit, that's
You're
what
like,
I'm using.
Yeah, I'm running it. And then I probably get flack for this too, but I liked Tobey Maguire's black suit Spider-Man with the eye makeup. He got mad emo and he was dancing with them dance numbers. I was like, yo, no lie, this is cheese, but I'm here for it. Can I get some crackers? You know what I'm saying? Where the wine and crackers? I'm here for all the Gruyere.
Yeah, that's I mean,
Jean-Luc,
we're all
is giving
allowed
me
to
the
like what
worst
we like.
face. Jean-Luc give me the nastiest face when
I'm
I
not,
said that.
I went in with so
face.
much hope for that movie, but it's there's a lot of issues with that.
Oh no, that movie was
But,
trash.
yeah,
Oh no, don't get me wrong. The movie was mad
The
garbage.
suit itself was still
the
pretty
suit was
cool.
dope.
Like the suit itself was still pretty dope.
The dance numbers I thought were fucking outrageous.
Yes.
It was unnecessary, but I loved it. I'm like, yeah, you better go for it. And yeah, Topher Grace is never Eddie Brock at all. I totally see Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock.
Oh, I think he is a perfect choice.
Perfect. And so I also like, from what I'm seeing in the trailer, that they're giving him a less jock kind of and it's like, it's this aggro journalist who's like, yo, I'm trying to get, and okay, excuse me, I'll take it back. I like that interpretation of him going against Peter Parker, like, hey, who's a better journalist? Like, him being an asshole, but, Parker trying to always, like, catch up to him. I like that. And I like that type of, so there could be hope for that.
Well, because Eddie Brock needs to seem more like, like an everyday guy. Like, who's, like, and that's what he is. He's an everyday guy who's down on his luck.
Yeah, right.
And that's...
Could you say that again? Everyday guy?
He's the everyday guy who's down on his luck,
You know what I'm saying? A boobity bibbity.
He's just trying to get his pictures.
A bobbity bobbity.
And get out of his way. Leave him alone.
You know what I'm saying? Rolling the dice here.
Yeah. But, I think he's an incredible choice to play it. I think it looks like it could be really good. The biggest concern, I think, will be the elephant in the room for everyone going to see it, is how do you do that without having Spider-Man first?
Yeah.
But part of the big part for me with Venom is he is basically the leftovers, or like, of Spider-Man's mistakes to not just one but two individuals. Like, Eddie Brock is wronged by him. Like the symbiote from the symbiote's point of view, is wronged by him. He doesn't handle it well. Like, it's like a drug. Like, and because of how he handled those two situations, and then just walked away as though, you know what, I'm not going to check to make sure there's not any more symbiote left over. Like, they were his mistakes. And some of the best villains and characters come from the mistakes of heroes, or other characters.
Definitely.
Which is how Tim Burton sold his Joker to you in Batman.
Definitely. Tim Burton.
I'm how do you go straight to the anti-hero, before the villain? And how do you sell that danger in the future? With his... I guess maybe they never interact with Spider-Man, but, Venom had, the Venom symbiote has a real hard time of being controlled when Spider-Man's around. It hates him. It fucking hates him.
Well, I thought it wasn't the hate as much as it always consistently wants to go back to its favorite host. The way I heard the way I had heard it explained was that was the most successful partnership for the symbiote. So every time that it's trying to get back to Peter Parker, it's always trying to get back to Peter Parker, because that's it. Like you said, it is like a drug, but it's chasing that drug, which was its first high, which was Peter Parker. So any chance that it can get to Peter Parker, it's trying to take over Peter Parker. So I don't think it hates it per se. I think that what happens is that the symbiote is going to, as it always does, enhance everything. So if you've got Eddie Brock having his own thing with Peter Parker because of being shafted on work, or being shafted on a photo or story or byline or whatever, their personal going back and forth is only heightened by the symbiote.
But for that argument, they state that Flash Thompson has the best connection with the symbiote of anybody. He understands it on a personal level. Not Eddie Brock understands the symbiote because they both hate Spider-Man. Flash Thompson understands who the symbiote is as a sentient individual. Is it because and they've suggested that he's had the perfect partnership. So at that point, I would think it would be trying then at that point to go towards him. I as I've seen it, at least, it for me, the thing that brings the two together is their hatred for Spider-Man, and then after that, he moves himself away from Spider-Man. Like he moves across the country to be away from him, so he doesn't have to deal with it, and then attempts to be his own hero. I just know how you do that. Like how, and I guess it's his own interpretation of this character. I just don't know how you tell that story, that Eddie Brock story, like, and share that partnership like with the character of Spider-Man. Like their dynamic will be forever changed. Like if they attempt to in any way attach the two. And as far as I know, it's going to be a PG-13 film.
I thought it was an R.
Originally, that they was suggested it was being pushed. Last I read, it was going to be dropped as PG-13. So, like the producers wanted to have the ability, if they could, to like connect it with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like in some way.
Hold on, let me see this. Let me look.
Last I read on it, it was coming out PG-13. Like now, that could have completely changed. I may have missed something. Like, and if it comes out as R, great. Like that's another one of my concerns. The movie they've been selling us visually is an R-rated film. Like it, like in the scene where it's like this armless little thing, like a turd rolling in the wind.
Yeah,
like
right.
is like, and then he chomps him. If he's not chomping him, then it's
That's what I'm seeing, though.
PG-13.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
There are
that.
a bunch of articles about how it's
Yeah.
What?
it's a good thing.
A little, just a little disappointing. You thought, well, okay.
It is, because the last one was like, wait, it's dropping as an R.
They were going to tell this story of this hero that was going to be incredibly violent and not necessarily like, I don't know. Yeah, like that would be a very un-Marvel character to tell, like story to tell. And they toned it down so that they could like attach themselves if need be. Like, or the opportunity arises, or
which it
they
will,
may
let's be
have
real.
already done somehow.
I was about to say, because at this point, think about it. I mean, we just said they got a 10-year playlist, so I mean, let's be real. Because I imagine they've already like forecasted the merger, and I already was like, okay, once this. I mean, like I said, they had Deadpool to caveat all these other things, and so all this stuff is happening because I mean. This is, like I said, like this could literally be that. Like we are probably going to see that setting itself up for us to believe that that's not happening. I think it would be foolish on our part because that's a money thing. And if we're gonna realize America and it's always about following the money, then it's going to be a money thing. Because if this, because think about it, because if Venom is good, if it turns out it's a really good movie, you bet your sweet wallet there's gonna be another one and a connection to something.
Well, Woody Harrelson is supposed to be in this one, but he has said he has said that he's a minor role like in this one, who will be taking a more major role in the next film if Venom does well enough to make another one. So he's rolling the dice.
So I mean that's how it usually works. You get the one, if it's good, they'll drop a number 2 to be a caveat to something else.
People are suggesting he might, like, it's pure speculation that he's gonna be Cletus Cassidy, and in 2 he'll be Carnage.
Oh my God! Now,
which is really an
Carnage is a
interesting
whole
choice.
other.
Oh yeah,
dude. Because I always thought Carnage never got its full due. I feel like you get Spider-Man, you get the symbiote, which is basically another Spider-Man, if we be real. And then you get a squeeze from that, which is another Spider-Man, which is another Venom. And it's like, it's kind of like you get these stories, but it's so far off. It's like, it's not really mainstream. I always like Carnage. I've always like,
no, Carnage is terrible, but a lot of fun.
Yo, like Cletus Cassidy, 7 life sentences.
Yeah.
He was serving 7 life sentences, and like, the symbiote's like, bro, what's good? And he's like, yo, let's go.
Yeah.
And it's literally just maximum ride. It's just it's like, how crazy can we? And I really want to see.
He's chaotic evil, 100%.
And I want to see more of that. I want to see something like that in the mainstream, like a graphic novel. Like, because I would like to see, because you've got Anti-Venom that comes out, which is cool, but like, I want to see, personally, as we stray away, like, I wanted to see, like, Carnage get extra nasty. The same way back in the day, comic arc. It was Wolverine versus the Marvel Universe. I think he was being controlled by the Hand.
Yep.
And he was just going around, and people were trying to, like, Wolverine, relax. And he was basically taking everybody down.
I think it was like Wolverine, enemy of the state.
Yeah, enemy of the state.
Because the Hand had killed him, had killed him temporarily to take a piece of his soul to control him.
Yeah. Boom. And there was one episode, I think it's issue like 134, which was like, I picked up at the 7-Eleven at the time as a kid. And it's where he, like, sticks Black Cat directly in the body with the claws. She's like Wolverine. And, like, he just hits her, dude. And you just see the silhouette. And I love it because they don't show you, but they show you the silhouette. And it's just him right through her body. And everyone's like, whoa. And I remember, like, looking at the panel and be like, oh, my God, Wolverine, what are you doing?
Yo.
I got to keep watching.
Yo.
I'm like,
When he wrecks the Fantastic Four in that
dude.
like...
And he smacks everybody. And I think that was my first time seeing an arc where you get to see the vastness of the universe and realize everyone's connection.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's just kicking ass and taking no names. No time for names. More ass to kick. So it was, it was pretty great. But going all the way back to Venom at this point, I honestly don't know how to take what's going to happen. Because
Right. It's so up in the air, man.
It's up in the air because you think about, it's even when the first Spider-Man happened, you're like, yeah, there's going to have to be some CGI. I mean, we know this. So how's it going to look?
Yeah, it's just going to be a big CGI monster, like Liquid Monster versus another CGI Liquid Monster.
Yeah, and you're just like, but it's like, in those situations, it goes back to like, when you're looking at CGI, you're thinking, could this be done with better animatronics? Or if you're looking at something, it's like,
or makeup,
or better makeup, or a better suit, or
aesthetics,
just at all in all things, in their most minute. And so, I'm hoping that what we see is a merriment of both of those, where we get to see, okay, somebody actually did have a suit. Like I want to see him in a black Venom suit. I want to be like, that's a suit. And kind of be like, oh, all right, this is what it looks now. When he gets jiggly and he get greasy with dudes, okay, good. Let him be the Liquid Man. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm kicking it, because obviously my favorite part of the symbiote is watching the symbiote come off of people's faces.
Yeah.
Like,
wrap around them.
Wrap around them. Because every time I see, it's like you're zipping your suit up.
Yeah.
But every time it's cooler and cooler.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a GIF out there right now where I think it's from one of the Marvel animated movies, and Eddie Brock is needing to make a call on his cell phone as Venom, and he pulls up, and Venom's mouth opens, and the tongue comes out, and then through the tongue he comes out, and he's like, hello, and he's like, hello,
yeah,
and I'm like, hilarious, but it was still visually pleasing.
So like that visual is so visceral, like the opposite of being enveloped, of coming out of being eaten.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
wild.
It's nuts, and so I always liked that as well, like just putting on the symbiote at all. So I'm waiting to see if they take the time to really give those details something, or if this is just what it was like when they made that Punisher movie that was just god awful.
Warzone? Yeah. Warzone was good. I kind of liked the one where John Travolta was a bad guy. That was a fun movie.
It was fun, but it was like...
I thought it was a good movie that wasn't... Like, I thought it was a good movie as a movie. Like, that felt like it wasn't a comic book movie. Nice. Someone could have gone and seen it having no idea that it was a comic book movie.
And been like, oh, okay, I can see this.
Like, and walked away from it having no idea they just saw a comic book movie.
Dude, no, Warzone was horrible,
Terrible.
dude. It was like,
Writing
really...
was awful.
I was like, wait, how is he this strong? Spoilers if you haven't seen Warzone. Homeboy's like punching people's heads off.
Yeah.
Like he punched, like a man punches through someone's head, and it's like, what?
I stopped watching. Like I got probably like 45 minutes and I was just done.
Which, side note, as we were talking about diversity, the Punisher is the only character that I expect to always be a white man. Because there's no way you can walk around with that many guns and not get stopped. Like, I don't ever want to see any of it because it'll be a very short arc. It'll be like, he shows up, they kill him, and that is the end of the Punisher. Dude, there's no way. There's no way. And then get off for killing these people, and like none of these superheroes stop him or anything.
Yeah,
like, they let him do his thing. The Daredevil's like, do your thing. Really, Pam? If he was a black man, do you really think the Punisher would have made it? None.
Man, privilege.
Yo,
right
man,
there.
Privilege. Talking about. Oh man, that's great. So overall, I'm gonna go into this thing with high hopes, man. I mean, actually, no, I'll take that back. I'm gonna go with high hopes. I'm gonna go in with zero expectation.
That's a good place to be.
Because I don't want to be like, oh, it could be this and this. I like Tom Hardy as an actor, great actor. That Ridley Scott show he just did. Oh my God, what was it? Can't remember the name. He was it was like, I'll remember it later. It was like, You Will Hang. Like he was
I
it
don't
was
know.
dark. It was that's pretty good. But he's been really good in a lot of things.
Yeah.
To cast him as something would be a hope. So I'm gonna be like, I'm hoping that you do a great job as an actor. That's what I'm gonna hope for.
Tom Hardy will be a great Eddie Brock, regardless.
Yeah, thank you.
Like I'm with you. I want a suit. Like at least at some point, you know what? You don't have to have a mask over his face, but a suit at the point that it's around
Up to
his
the
neck.
neck. I need to see that.
I need a suit
I need
at
to
some
see
point. And I hope that because of seemingly we're not going to get it, I hope that it separates from him and joins Spider-Man at some point in like mashing in the MCU.
Homecoming?
And so then it comes back to him later on in another Venom movie, like later on, giving it the symbol because I want the Venom symbol, like we talked about.
Definitely.
It's so cool,
Dude.
but I think it could be very good. I'm tentative, but that's where I am.
All right then. Well, I think that's good. Ian,
Yeah.
you feel us?
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Indeed.
I approve.
Ian approves. All right, so we're gonna do something special and end this episode by asking you to ask your mother to give us money, and we need your family to send us money, and we need their family to send us money.
Social security numbers, IDs,
Yeah.
I mean,
Jewelry,
jewelry,
really
gold.
things.
We'll take your gold.
You know, we'll take things.
Money and
you know?
things.
You know what? You want gold for air? We'll send you air.
Dude,
God.
I mean,
Gold
we've
for
got
air.
Wow.
filtered air. So, tune in next time where we'll be selling filtered air.
Yeah, we
for bars of gold.
We need to cut this off. They're gonna hear about this.
They're gonna hear about
get on
this.
it before us.
I mean, I just want to.
Don't you take this from us.
Don't you take this from us, doubloons.
Doubloons.
Oh man.